Hi, I'm Dave Vickers and welcome to the Photo Show. In today's episode, we're looking at the latest offering from Nikon, the D780. Now at the time of making this video, this camera hasn't even been announced, but there are a lot of rumours that as of the beginning of January, Nikon are going to announce the launch of the D780, which is the replacement for their popular full-frame D750 first launched in 2014. Now the D750 has been loved by wedding and portrait photographers since it was first released. It's a camera that offers full-frame photography without the massive megapixel count or cost of something like a D850. With that in mind, it looks like Nikon are updating the D700 range without making any major significant changes. I think they're working on the if it ain't broke, don't fix it principle. Sensor-wise, the D780 is going to have a 24 megapixel full-frame sensor, much like that found on the earlier D750. Although Nikon will add in their latest processor, which will allow faster operations and better processing of things like RAW files. ISO range is somewhere where Nikon could improve over the D750, and I think they're probably going to add in an ISO range closer to that found on the D850, which is ISO 64 to ISO 24600, which will give the camera a much better low light performance. Autofocus wise, the D750 had 51 autofocus points, and it'd be nice if in the D780 Nikon up this to somewhere around 100 plus autofocus points, and hopefully widen them out around the screen rather than cluster them in the centre like you find on the D750. Being a DSLR, the D780 is going to have an optical viewfinder, and on the rear there's going to be a 3.2 tilting touchscreen. It won't be fully articulating, it'll be tilting, but that was the same on the D750. But Nikon will be improving the resolution of the screen up to 2.1 million dots. Now the D780 isn't going to have any built-in image stabilization. That's going to have to be taken care of through the lenses, but I don't think it's technically possible to have an image stabilizing sensor on a DSLR. I think the mechanism for the mirror gets in the way of being able to sensor shift to offer it built-in image stabilization. Another area that's going to be updated on the D780 will be the menu system, and I think Nikon will probably bring across the newer menu system that they use on their Z series of mirrorless cameras. Video wise, now this is going to be the biggest change between the D780 and the D750. The D750 would shoot video at 1080p at up to 60 frames per second. The D780 is going to be able to shoot 4K video at up to 30 frames per second and 1080 video at up to 120 frames per second, so it will enable you to shoot slow motion in full HD. Being aimed at the professional market, the D780 is going to have dual SD card slots for your image storing. Now the D780 is going to use Nikon's FMount system, not the newer Z-mount system, because that's designed specifically for Nikon's mirrorless cameras. And this makes perfect sense. The majority of Nikon users are still using DSLRs with the F-mount lenses, and with such a wide range of F-mount lenses available, not just from Nikon but from third-party companies as well, it would be foolish for Nikon not to service that customer base with new camera bodies to use those lenses on. Price wise, the D780 is going to come in around £2,000, $2,000 body only. But one of the things this is going to do, it's going to make the D750 a lot cheaper. Once the D780 comes out, the D750 price will drop. So if you've been looking at purchasing a full frame camera but the price has been prohibitive, once the D780 comes out, prices on new D750s and used ones are going to drop down. So they're going to make them a real bargain to go and buy a new or used D750. So with no major changes over the D750, who is the D780 actually aimed at? As I said earlier, the D750 has been the workhorse of many wedding and portrait photographers, and they've been using those cameras for 5 years now, and a lot of those are going to be coming to the end of their working life. So they're going to want to upgrade to something that does the same job, only slightly better, and the D780 is the ideal candidate for that. It's going to be a lot like updating your car after 5 years. The new model is not going to be significantly faster, but there are going to be little gadgets and options that make things just a little bit more pleasant. So there we go, that concludes our look at Nikon's D780. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Nikon should have made more significant updates over the 750? Or do you think just upgrading what is probably their most popular full frame camera was the ideal way to go? For now, I'm Dave Vickers. This is The Photo Show. Thanks for watching. See you next time.